European journal that you write into, what is your relevance? What is the relevance of the research you are doing to the environment where you are? Until we begin to think, we educated people to think along that line, we will never get to the point. Until we are bold enough to tell our people, not caring what you're going to say. I told you when I come, people said the Tomori is rigid, is inflexible. I said, yes, I'll be inflexible. Because we're fighting over the same thing and saying the same thing, but you keep talking to them. Whenever you come back, I mean, for those of you, what made you to go out of your country? Because the environment was not conducive for you to do anything. If that environment gets worse, you're not going to come back. If you come back, you won't stay too long. You go back. So that is the crux of the matter. We need to improve that environment. The environment I had that made me not to travel out of my country for all my education must be brought back. And it is by talking, by pointing out to the people, by showing examples, by letting them know that, this country, I saw somebody, I said, my country was UN. I said, what is UN? I said, Utopia, Nigeria. My country was Utopia as I was concerned at that time. Because, there was safety, there was security, I could go anywhere I wanted, I had good education. We still had we had a little bit of progress, not about that. But things were going, we're making progress. Now we are retrogressing. I've been to Liberia, as I mentioned. When I go back there, it's not what I knew of those days. And when these people come in, supposedly to come and help us, they are helping themselves. There's no international aid that does not aid the person who is giving it to you. Those of you who know the Bible, what the Bible says, it says the giver benefits more than the recipient. When US comes in and gives you 100 million, some of the things we do, and they said, okay, you need to buy a vehicle. Will they buy the vehicle from your town? They'll buy it from their industry. In Nigeria, they are building a lot of things. They're even bringing plywood and all those things from China, shipping it and say with aid. You know what is happening in Kenya. You know what is happening in many other countries. So, my friend, it's in our hands. It is for a few more people, young people like you, to be bold. You have nothing to lose. Situation can't be worse than what it is. So fight it out. Talk to the people. Say it out to them. Let them know. And I know they can force you, but they can't suppress you for too long. Over.
Thank you so much, Professor. A follow-up question to that is, now there are some people who are, some leaders or some people who are occupying certain positions who have been there for over a decade, but there has not been anything positive that can improve the particular institution in which they are working. Now, as a young person, upon completion of our studies, and then I went back home, for example, to work in our system, and I got into the system and tried to improve. Now, those people there will definitely look at me to be like, in our setting, we call the know-all. Okay, what is it that he wants to prove? Does he want to prove that he's the only person who has gone about and study? Now I become a target because they feel that I'm trying to do the right thing so that the system can be vibrant and conducive for everybody. So now I become a target in which they want to get rid of. So how do you, what's that advice, or what can we do with such people? Because we always looking at right now is how we can improve the system in Africa so that we can compete and advise on what can international level. What's our advice in that direction?
Yes, sir. George Weah is not the problem in Liberia. It is the people who are surrounding George Weah who are the beneficiaries of George Weah's position.
Sure.
George Weah is the front for the evils that are collecting, that are ruining your country. But when everybody wants to blame anybody, they're not going to blame them. They're going to blame George Weah. So the real problem is not the president. The real problem are those who are sitting behind the president. Let me tell you one interesting story. When I was traveling one day from Malawi to another place, Malawi had Banda for years, as president. And the Minister of Transport came in and we sat down, we started talking. And I was saying, why will you be one Banda? He said, no, the problem is not with Banda. The problem is with those of us whose that Banda is the cover up for. We are facing the wrong people. We are facing our president. We are forgetting the civil servants. We are forgetting all those people who run after the president, the security guards and all this. Those are the major problems of our country. And when you make up your mind, that's why I said we know what to do. we will not do it. But when you make up your mind as an individual, it comes down to the changing of a country is because we need mass movement, but it has to start from one or two. I keep talking about Singapore. I keep talking about leadership in Indonesia. We keep talking about they have problems, but they're making progress. See the whole of Dubai. Dubai was a desert land, which nobody, when they were riding camels all over the place 20, 30 years ago. What has happened? They had an individual who had a vision and the other thing. And so you must have vision for what you want in your future. You as an individual is not just to get your PhD and postdoctoral and then that's the end of it. What vision do you have to change your environment? And when you have like minds like those of you on this platform we are talking now, when you have like minds and you have that vision, you can move. You can move this continent. You are the people of the future. Don't get deceived. You are the one for today. Start it today. Because they will never let you have a future.
Sure.
They will make sure that, see in my country, who are the people contesting? They are in the 70s and 80s. Where are the young people? Because they will never leave. And when those people, when they finish, they bring their children to take over your place. In my country, there's one of the politicians who has established a private university. But all his children are graduating from overseas. And I'm saying, if I were in charge of that place, I would take his license and close his university. These are certain things that we need to begin to stand up for. What is your vision for your country? And how do we need to do it? And sometimes we have a saying in my place that the man they use his head to crack coconut may not likely eat out of that coconut. But sometimes maybe God makes your forehead stronger than coconut, and therefore we need to go out there and challenge and fight. I mean, I've been warned many, many times in my country of what I say, the things I do. But by the grace of God, I've been blessed. I'm 76 years old. What am I looking for again? I didn't wait till 76 before I started talking. I've been talking ever since the day I knew, because I grew up in my family where my father spoke his mind. And that's why I was talking about culture. How do we bring your people up? Say your mind and damn the consequences. That's what my father brought up when we were living. I told you we had a polygamous house with so many children. You have to fend for yourself and you have to fight for yourself. Some of you may have, not be like my own, where you have a one mono family. But then it doesn't really matter. What is your vision for your country? What's your vision for yourself? What is all your studying you are doing? What is the purpose? That begins to this. And then you have people of like purpose. Again, like this group you have, get together and turn our continent. I said one point that you are more intelligent than my generation. You have access to information which I never had. If we give you 1/10 of the environment I had, you will turn Africa around. Make up your mind to do that. And that's where it is. So as you look at the people who are really causing the problem in your country, I know the president takes all the blame, but those are not the problems. It's the man, the civil servant in the office. How many presidents, some of you start your life as a civil servant, you get there at 25, you retire at 60 or something. That's 35 years. Within 35 years, you have had 3 or 4 presidents who have gone and gone. You have remained there forever, shopping, stealing, and all that one. And here we keep punishing the president. So let's do what we each need to do. And when we are many enough who are doing the right thing, change will come. Positive change. Over.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much. Change will come if many of us do what is supposed to be done. That is so powerful. I know we are all charged up. I know this is, a very timely conversation. So let us stick to one question per person so that all of us who have got questions will get a chance. Let us welcome Dr. Handiso. Is the Chief Executive Engineer at Tianjin Robotics Company and Intelligent Manufacturing. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you also that both of the presenters. I have that question for both of them. If the other presenter is here or not, I don't know. First of all, that Africa do not have a problem of resources. This is fact.
Good.
So my question is how we cultivate or produce well-educated, skilled human capital for that resource to process, because that the worlds are going in the high technology. Every technology is functional currently in the other world. Some of them are functional in Africa. To fully manipulate and interpret and what we are called that, to make that functional in Africa, how we can cultivate well-educated human capital and skilled people for better life of African young youth, as well as the others, how we can produce these people without the interference of political aspects. And the challenge, the other question is, does Agenda 2063 include the youngest people production line or not? If we cannot produce well-educated human capitals, the resource all times will go outside. Then it will process in the outside, it will come back to Africa. How can we stop that? And how can we process in Africa everything? Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. They've introduced you as one of the talents we're talking about, but you're doing that in China. But that doesn't, I know I've been to Ethiopia also. I know a few things are going on in different places. You know, one of the first things that we did, we made, the education that my generation had, we are still giving the same type of education to the current generation. The people who gave us the education have changed, but we are not changing. It is the laziness, mental laziness of the educated people of my generation to begin to think beyond those little things that we learn. The education we're giving was for a purpose, to get a job and feed your family. Education has changed to make you a total human being who can be of benefit to other people. Unfortunately, many of our universities in Africa are not doing that. And it requires, it's a change that can only come also from within. The younger people that are all on this panel who get into their universities will become the, what do you call it, the channel for change. But it takes courage to challenge your leader, to challenge your boss, you know, with a little bit of this thing, so that our education system can move away from what it was in the colonial era. As I mentioned, the colonial education we're given, the people who brought it to us are no longer using it. And we're not looking. There's the same problem I'm talking about, the COVID. When COVID came, we were all blind in Europe, blind in Africa. But the blindness in Africa, we became deaf with our own blindness by not studying our own environment, by not looking at the epidemiology disease to determine how we're going to respond. We're waiting for WHO, we're waiting for global to make up their mind. Internally, we need to look at our own environment. How do we go? How our generation, our parents, how are they surviving under their condition where they were before? What native intelligence they have to survive? So our educated youth today must, that's why I use the word vision, must go beyond just acquiring degrees. But the education must be different. And then don't wait for me to teach some. You, like I say, me that I'm teaching you, like I use the word, you are more versatile than myself. And you are going to find a few of us who appreciate what is happening and are ready to adapt. People like us, a few of us are adapting. I'm putting on the youth and tell them, look, this is the direction to go, and advising with a little bit of it, but majority are not. So back to your question, it goes down to that the change will come when people like you, with all the new techniques you have and the vision that you have, begin to find like-minded people like you to work together. And it's going to take time. But if we, like I said, if we don't start, there's no way we can do that. People ask about, where would what about can the youth get everything done without this? It's a matter of can you do it by force? No, force is not going to solve the problem. Intelligence, but with that, it takes a little longer than force. Force can destroy everything that is there. Intelligence will take some time, to follow gradually, convincing people and moving them to what the situation is. We had a situation in Nigeria during the polio eradication, when the religious people came up and said the vaccine was tainted with something. And Nigeria became the laughing stock of the entire world when we're getting about 5 cases of polio every day in my country. But it took understanding, talking to those people, explaining to them what it is. And today, most of Africa now is supposed to be free of polio. That took time. So patience, I ask for you, you young people, know where you are going. Get like-minded people together. Work together. Whatever opposition you get, don't worry. It's a matter of time. 2 things will happen on your advantage. By the grace of God, if things work out well, those who are opposing you are older than you. They will die before you. Yeah, you have much longer time to push and push and push and turn out, because eventually it is your life. It is your country. Because many of us now are talking, our time is almost over. Therefore, think of the future. What do I want my children to be? What type of situation is? Work with that vision. And you're going to have people, you still have a few people like us who will give you all the support that you require. But you must come out there and join and get out there and get this thing done in your different countries. Togetherness, I mentioned something about the fact that you're talking about Africa. Africa, we're still totally divided about our colonial past. The French people will go to France for the problem. The English people will talk to America or whatever. Spanish will go to Spain. Portuguese will go to Portugal. That's what is happening. When AU meets and they take a decision, that only ends up in Addis Ababa. When they get back to their state, Macron is waiting for the French to sort them out. Britain is going to come and make some comments. America is going to make a comment or something of that nature. Until we in Africa decide that it's our own, it is for us. No matter, we are going to suffer some things at the beginning. All the good things we enjoy, we may lose them, but it's only temporary. And we must move forward for a greater future. What is going to be better for us in the future? Over. I can never answer all the questions, but it's just that I can make suggestions. And then you are the one, like I said, I use the word, you are smarter than my generation. So use that smartness to do better than my generation. Over.
Thank you so much, Professor. And, I'll use Saka Kaunda's comment. He or she says the discourse has taken a revolutionary road. And this is what we wanted. We wanted to turn our words into action. We wanted to plant a seed that, will be angry, will be yearning this development for Africa. We will take it as our personal goal, that me as a person, Africa is my agenda, Professor asked, what is your agenda for Africa and for yourself? What is your, start from home, what is your agenda for your country? I think we'll take, I don't know, Sakuda, are you in? Saka Kaunda, sorry, I'm masquerading your name. Is Saka in? If not,
I'm in. Yes, I am in.
Ask your question, you had raised your hand.
I actually posted the question as a message, the chat.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Are you able to read it?
Why did you say it? Because it's a bit difficult to.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was stating that barely 5 months ago, I was chatting with some of my friends from Nigeria. One of them, he works here in China, and one moved to South Africa. And they were telling me that, my brother, it's difficult to get a job back home. That the people, the establishment back home, views you as a threat. That you've come from abroad with good academic qualification, publications. So they see you as a threat. And they will do everything possible within their power because they are there. They occupy the departments. They have been there for years. They do everything possible to suppress you, frustrate you, intimidate you, and finally ensure that you don't get a job back home. Is this thing happening? Is it true? That was my question.
Okay, thank you very much. What you said is true.
Yes.
That's number one. But then you yourself, you should see yourself as a threat to them. I mean, you are, whether you like it or not. You are better educated, you are better experienced, you are better. So they will see you as a threat. And you better regard yourself as a threat. And how do you prepare when somebody says you're a threat? You prepare against stuff, isn't it? You don't go there like a lamb going to be slaughtered. You know you are going back, and these people are going to be ferocious against you. They're going to be ferocious against you. So you guys are prepared for the ferocity that you're going to meet at home. And then look for alternatives. If A doesn't go, what other things can I do? And let me tell you one thing. When you are excellent, when you've done what you need to do, they will hate you, but they cannot do without you. But sooner or later, they will call you when they need something done. Something good, they'll come and look for you. I've been in Nigeria, I've been back to Nigeria now since 2004. I was quite loud in what I used to say. I used to write in papers and things. I came back. And, in fact, there are times when I'm appointed into government position. And you know the reason? Not because they want to use me, because they think they can use to silence me. That if he's working under the government as a government member, he will not talk. That was the greatest mistake and error they made in their life. Because I keep talking. I know what I came for. I know my vision. I follow it. So when you call me and say, come and join, I will keep telling you these are the things to do. Sooner or later, the deaf will hear. The blind will see. Like I said, it takes time. It takes work. You're coming home for work, not for fun. When you come back with all those extra fantastic degrees and things, get ready that another war is going to start when you get home. Prepare for it. Don't think they're going to welcome you with the drums and this thing with red carpet when you're arriving. No, you won't get that. So go there, remember that I'm going home. These are the obstacles, these are the things, and have your plan ready. If I'm not going to get a job in the world, is there any other thing I can do? While I'm there, I'm thinking, what can I do when I get home? Is there anything that with my own experience, something that is missing at home, where I can fill the gap? That's the way you should be thinking, not to go and take up a job that nobody wants you to be there.
Thank you so much. Even we don't realize that time is really running. We are almost getting to 10. The interaction is really fired up. We will take 2 more questions we will start with Raya. Please go ahead. And then the next one will be Ibrahima. Raya? Ria, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was thinking. Wow, Professor, I want to say thank you for your advice just then. Indeed, you have to prepare. You cannot just go in there thinking that you will be welcomed. I really appreciate that comment. My question is, I'm Ria Radweg, and I'm the founder and CEO of IDFA, I Do It for Africa. I'm from African descent, but still, I would like to participate in making the continent better. Of course, I have a choice then of 54 countries, but and I choose for all 54. How can we participate? How can we infiltrate? Why am I saying this? Because many of us, we don't know really what's going on the continent because we live outside. We are trained in so many things. And like you said before, yes, if you train somewhere else as a diaspora African, let me say it like that, it's difficult to come back home. But what about the one who is from African descent? Yes, he brings a different culture, a different outlook, maybe a different tactic in how to tackle it. But how do they get in there? Are there organizations where they can join? Are there certain, I don't know, maybe you can advise me on this. Okay. Me, myself, I'm for art and culture, and I want to inform my people, which are people of African descent, what is there. So I'm planning to do a drive from China to Africa. and make a documentary about African art and culture, because I think that's what can be an opening door for the diaspora, or diaspora alone, the people of African descent, to look forward in participating in investment or all other kind of doors that are there in Africa. But please, I would like to hear your advice on this.
Thank you very much. You started right.
Sorry, Professor, just before you respond, let me just clarify to, she is from Suriname, which is not an African.
Okay.
Yes, so, you can come from that perspective. Those who are of African descent but are not. Yes.
Yeah. Whether you're African descent or whatever, you see, the important thing is, like I said, let me start from where you started. You said you are CEO of something, so you're not waiting for anybody to give you a job. You started your own thing. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I do.
You started your own thing. That's the first step.
Correct.
The other question, you said you don't know about this, you don't know about that. In my days, when I want to know about Africa, I will write you a letter, which it takes 2 weeks to come, and that 2 weeks to return. Okay. By that time, what you wrote has changed. Today, you have the internet in your system. What do you know about the world? On the internet. So what you know about Africa is not an excuse. You have all the resources in your hand. You know what you want to know. And use your talent to find out what gaps are there. I'm in with my training because of the knowledge you now have about Africa. And that's why it's important. A lot of people come into Africa totally ignorant. Now you have an opportunity to get to the internet. Here museum, what was kind of things? You can get information, into the you know, so long as what you're offering is need for it, you will respond something. Anyway, not just Elon Musk cannot just making all these things, but there are niches where people is lacking. Let me make something for them. That's the solution to most of the things. Find out information. Where are the gaps? Can I fill it with my own training? Can I supply and fulfill this need for other people? Once you do that, that's the way out. And if we take if Africa takes everything from those who are even of African descent, you are even better placed than because of your background to come in there, because then you know what the situation is. Your cultural attitude is different from the others who come in and say they are bosses. You are learning about this, so you're coming to help. You have identified the gap. You know your talent, and you're putting that into the place. So to me, the first thing is find out what are those areas of Africa that your talent can fit into. Where are those gaps in the different countries where they are? Which country has most of the gap? Where will I be useful because of my training? Those are the type of things. So knowledge is very important. Information is of utmost importance. Get that information about what is there. What are the needs? What are the gaps? Then match that with your training, with your own capacity, with your talent, with all that, and see whether you fit in. It's a kind of plug and socket kind of thing. You know, the socket is the gap, and you come in and bring the plug and put it in there, and then your electricity starts flowing. That's what happens. And once the connection is made, move on, smooth. Of course, I'm sure there will be problems. I'm not saying that doesn't have a problem, but at least you are solving a problem and making contribution to what is there. Over.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. I'll make sure I find it.
Thank you so much. And what Professor said, find and carve your own niche in Africa. There is always a gap. Now find what is your gap. I'm not seeing any hands raised up. Are we satisfied? Can we let Professor go, or do you have more questions? Oh, yeah. Hey, Ibrahim Asuri, you can come in.
Hello, thank you so much. And thank you for Professor. And I'm so happy to introduce myself here. I'm from West Africa. I'm a doctor neurosurgeon in China. and actually candidate for PhD program. So I would like to say something about ourselves. I think most of the question is below to what happened in Africa and what we are feeling actually in our mind. I think we should not be afraid about that.